Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Varleen and today we are diving right into the tropics to shine a spotlight on the Caribbean and discover what makes this diverse paradise a bucket list favorite worldwide. What makes the Caribbean so incredible isn't just the picture-perfect turquoise water and sun-soaked beaches, it's the distinct cultures, amazing food, and rhythmic energy found across every island. To help us explore this massive paradise, we've brought in a destination expert who knows exactly where to go. If an island escape is on your radar, stick around. You won't want to miss a single second of this. Greetings. Joining us today is Nancy Drolet, the destination expert of the Caribbean, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Amazing. If it's okay with you, I'm going to get right into the questions.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So how is the Caribbean region structured in terms of different countries and islands, and what makes it such a diverse travel destination?
Well, that's a big question right off the start, because it's a region that is large geographically in terms of size, but it's also made up of 30 plus countries. And each country is distinct. They're not all the same. We tend to think of the Caribbean as a region, but amongst the Caribbean islands, there are actually English islands, French islands, Spanish islands, and Dutch islands.
Wow.
So 4 very different influences in this area. It was also influenced a great deal by the originating peoples, which were the Arawak Indians. So you'll see a lot of influence on different islands and differentiation between the islands because of all the different people who have settled there and conquered and, through history.
Well, what are some cultural experiences that you feel travelers shouldn't miss when they visit?
I think the Caribbean is always known for carnivals. And we do have incredible carnivals in the Caribbean. Usually the carnivals are celebrating some type of emancipation. Right? So perhaps they have become independent, and so they're Independence Day celebrations that can also be a part of the carnival celebrations. But different islands celebrate them at different times.
Right.
They have all different costumes, different types of music that is celebrated. One of the things that we did at One Caribbean is we created a Caribbean event calendar.
Wow.
And you can link to it on the homepage. It has 72 pages of events. And so we have broken down events by month, by country, in date order. But we've also categorized the events in the back of the calendar. And so all the food festivals that we have that celebrates all the different food we have in the Caribbean. We have music festivals. We have culinary festivals. We also have sailing regattas. And we have a whole category for other sporting events. Who knew? We have horse racing in the Caribbean. In Guyana, we have drag racing for people that are into car racing. Like, there are so many festivals and so many events. We're probably known for carnival, but we have everything.
Well, that is so good to know, because just jumping right to my next question, music and dance is such a big part of the Caribbean culture. Right?
Huge.
So how did they show up in everyday life as well as the visitor experience?
Well, there's different kinds of music depending where you go in the Caribbean. I think people think reggae, they think Jamaica, right? Actually, reggae music has grown throughout the Caribbean as it has the whole world. So there are places like Guyana, like Dominica, Martinique, that actually have reggae festivals. But Carnival, where it originated in Trinidad, also has soca, calypso, ska, zouk, These are all different types of music depending on whether it's French, Spanish. Spanish would be more salsa, merengue, that kind of music. If you go over to the Dutch islands, that's where you get into tumba.
Oh.
So all different kinds of music, but if you're looking for local music, you can find it everywhere. There's got to be a bar, a nightclub somewhere that has that.
I would love to experience that.
Absolutely, you will.
I love that. And speaking of, we did talk about music festivals, but are there any other festivals across the Caribbean that you always recommend visitors to experience there?
Well, the carnivals we've talked about, but I would also say the sailing regattas. Because you think of the Caribbean, of course, a lot of the countries, not all of them, but 95% of them are Caribbean islands. But because of that, a lot of people bring their boats down, or they rent boats and they will use it as a boating vacation. But we also have international visitors that will come for sailing festivals that start at the beginning of the year and they run all the way through. Highest concentration of sailing regattas happens from January through to about May. And it's like these international athletes will come from everywhere in the world and they will sign up for all these sailing regattas and they move around the Caribbean. Or one of the most famous events is Antigua Sailing Week, which happens usually at the end of April every year. Stunning. Stunning. You can go on boats and follow the boats as they are going back and forth. We call it chase the race.
Oh.
You have to go on the chase the race boat to follow them as they're keeling and doing all these different things. So that's a lot of fun to do.
That is so good to hear. And shifting to food, how would you describe the Caribbean cuisine to someone who's never experienced it before? And what are some specialties visitors should try?
Well, it's as varied as the number of countries that we have.
Yes.
So it's, certainly when you think about Jamaica, you think about jerk. Jerk spices, jerk chicken, jerk pork. They also have some curries, but you find more curries the further south you go. When you think about the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, you think of conch. And they have a lot of conch chowder, conch salads, all with peppers. And then as you make your way around the Caribbean, you'll find that they might use the same spices, but in different intensities.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So the jerk spice that you use in Jamaica might be used a little bit differently in Antigua. Each country has their own regional dishes. Fungi and pepper pot is the main dish of Antigua and Barbuda, for example. But then if you went down to if you went to Montserrat, it would be goat water. They call it goat water, and it's actually a stew. You might find that same dish in Guyana, but the flavor would be completely different.
Wow.
And if you go to the French islands, they have a lot of what they call accra, which are cod balls. So the flavoring and the food and the way in which they use them, very different. That's why you've got to visit every island to taste all the different food.
And is there something that you personally recommend?
Everything.
For someone looking to go beyond the tourist spots, what are some underrated or lesser known destinations that you would recommend?
There are a lot of countries in the Caribbean that have not been explored, right? We were talking about Antigua a moment ago. Antigua has a sister island called Barbuda. Hardly anyone has been there. And there's not much there, but they have a beautiful wildlife area for birds. So if you're a bird watcher, that's a must visit. Montserrat is beautiful. There are no chain hotels here, no fast food restaurants, all smaller properties, big hiking destination, and of course the historical aspect of going through a Montserrat in Pompeii is just extraordinary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they are actually an island the only country outside of Ireland that has a national holiday for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, wow.
And they have a big 2-week celebration for St. Patrick's Day and a big carnival at that time as well. St. Eustatius, or we'll call it Statia. Nobody's ever heard of this island. It's a Dutch island and also has a volcano. Hasn't erupted or anything. I don't know if it's extinct or not, but there's all sorts of hiking trails. Bonaire is another island. We know the ABCs, Aruba, Curacao you've probably heard of, but maybe not Bonaire. But it's a big dive destination, protected waters throughout. I think that Canadians, Americans tend to stay with the tried and true where there are volumes of flights, but there are inter-island carriers that can take you to other islands that are definitely worth exploring.
When travelers are planning their first Caribbean trip, so how do you usually guide them into choosing which island is the right for them?
That's a really good question, and one that we get a lot, because how do you decide?
Exactly. So many.
How do you decide when you've got 35 islands to choose from? So one thing that we do is we speak to budget. But aside from budget, I like to get an idea of what people like to do on their vacation, and that helps me target, what activities are available. Are they into history? Do they want to sit on a beach? What kind of a beach do they want? Do they want a walking beach, or do they just want to dip and go? Are they into, diving? Are they into more active sports on board? We just added to our website, actually, lists of pickleball, padel, tennis, and basketball for people that are interested in that. There are people that will travel just for golf. So they want a variety or a quality of golf. So getting an idea of what their activities are will help you target the right country. I believe that we're becoming more food oriented. We're becoming more explorative, if you will, for food. So that's also a big thing. There are some islands that have Michelin-starred restaurants who are renowned. And a lot of islands will tell you they're the culinary capital of the Caribbean. They can't all be. They all have wonderful food. But there are islands that go above and beyond for food. And so those are ones that you would want to point out as well.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And once our travelers have chosen an island, so how do you know about getting around, and what do you recommend when it comes to inter-travel for the islands?
To travel inter-island, you mean?
Yes.
Well, there's actually a couple of ways. We actually have on our website a list of ferries, of public or public-private ferries that will take you from one island to another island.
I see.
Not all islands are connected that way. Some are just too great a distance, and the sea might be a little rough, let's say, in some areas where it's probably better if you fly. But we've added some inter-island carriers on our website, and we're going to be adding more. So basically, if you are staying, say, in St. Martin, in Frontier Dutch St. Martin, that's known as a hub. Antigua is also a hub. And from here, there are several islands that will connect you out. So you can go visit multiple islands, either by ferry or by flight hops.
Oh, wow.
So from St. Martin, for example, you can now connect to the British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Saba, St. Eustatius, and St. Kitts, right? You can go to Antigua, and Antigua can connect you back over to Anguilla or to St. Martin, to St. Kitts, to Nevis, and further south to Dominica. So they're all little hubs, obviously from Canada or from Miami There's a lot more volume directly into the islands, but once you're on one island, if you want to go island hopping, it'll be a combination of inter-island carriers or ferries.
See, very accessible.
It's accessible, but you also have to remember that one country could have multiple islands. So, for example, Antigua and Barbuda have 2.
Right.
Cayman Islands have 3. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has 32. The British Virgin Islands has 60.
Oh.
When you get up to the Bahamas, the Bahamas actually has 700 islands within the archipelago of the Bahamas, but 16 main islands, right? So you can even buy your own little island. It could just be a rock and a beach, but but it's there.
I see. And on that note, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about the Caribbean?
I think it would go back to the size, you know, because I think that people think of it as a region and that it's close together, and it's not.
Right.
For example, when a storm goes through, you know, we have seen issues of sales plummeting if a hurricane hits a particular country. And that's why we've put this Caribbean map that I showed you on our website, so that it's easier to explain to someone, well, you know what, if a hurricane hit this island, there's plenty of other ones that are fine. You know, we know storms can be targeted just like tornadoes
100%.
In Canada and the US. That doesn't mean the entire country has gone, right? So I think that the explanation of the distances between the countries, like from the Bahamas down to here, that's a couple hours flight. So that is, I think, the biggest misconception. And I do think it's a lack of education on knowing where the islands are located in relationship to the others.
And when it comes to accommodations, how do you differentiate between staying somewhere that feels authentically local versus something more resort-style experience?
Well, I would say, and this is, I'm going to give you a little bit of an influence here, my own personal opinion, okay?
Yeah, of course.
I think whenever you get into the bigger resorts, there's a type of client that wants that resort feel. They want to feel like they are back home, right? If they are familiar with a Holiday Inn or a Marriott, they're going to be happiest in a Holiday Inn Marriott in the Caribbean. But there is a huge range of boutique style hotels in the Caribbean that give you a more authentic flavor. And we've tried to add a lot of boutique hotels to give everybody a taste of that on our website. There are villas, there are boutique hotels, there are small hotels, there are locally owned and operated hotels, there are huge chains. So it really depends where you go. Some islands, like I was just saying about Montserrat, there are no chains, right? St. Eustatius has no chain, right? The Bahamas, you're going to find really big hotels, but then you're also going to find amenities that go along with that. Casinos, you're going to find, 17 restaurants in one resort. Follow the links to our hotels and you'll see the boutique style hotels, and when in doubt, email me, I'll give you a recommendation.
I have noted that.
No problem.
Of course. And how accessible is the Caribbean overall for different types of travelers? Someone who's luxury seekers, budget travelers, or also solo adventurers with families also. What do you recommend?
Entirely accessible. Main islands, maybe not the smaller islands, certainly accessible, but I will say that we have flights year-round to key destinations from Canada, from the US, and from Central America. So very accessible. A lot of the smaller carriers have added an American Airlines hopper from Miami. So everything, if it funnels through Miami, they can connect to an American Airlines hopper almost daily to a lot of the smaller islands, like Dominica, for example. Anguilla is another really good example. From major markets, Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas, etc., there's a lot of direct nonstop options into the major centers. So I don't think anybody would have a problem finding a flight.
How can travelers make sure that they're supporting local communities and practicing more responsible tourism while they're being there?
I love this question. It's something that we've been focusing on a lot. We've done a couple of things that you can access on our website.
Right.
The first thing is when you go under accommodation, there is a drop down that says green accommodation or green hotels. And in that section, we speak to 4 of the most prevalent accreditations that are available to hotels in the Caribbean. So Green Globe, Earth Check, LEED, Green Key. And we have lists of all the hotels that have achieved each of those certifications. So certainly you can just look at that and say, we have a description that will explain to you, what does Green Key mean? What does Earth Check mean? What do the hotels have to do in order to become Green Key certified or to become LEED certified? And there's different levels of certification. They could be entry level or they could be platinum, for example, or gold, depending on the certification. So we wanted to explain to you what each of those certifications meant and then provide you with a list of hotels that have achieved that. When you go back into the regular accommodation of the hotels that are on our site, there's a sustainability section on each page, and we go into a little bit more depth to tell you what are they doing with regards to sustainability. Like, do they have water stations if you bring your own water bottle? It's not just a matter of sticking a plaque in your guest room to say, if you don't want to have your towels replaced, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But there's more. There's so much more. Are they sourcing their food locally? Organically, farm to table. Mostly all of the Caribbean is farm to table because that's just what they do, right? That's there. But are they using solars? Are they using LED lighting? That kind of stuff. So we've tried to include the details there for each hotel. When you go into the destination section, which it comes up to the map, and you'll see a gold box beside all the hotels or all the countries that are members. If you click on it, you go to the bottom of the page in the Travel Essentials box, there's a box that says sustainability. And in that sustainability section, we started adding information for each country on what their government is doing with regards to sustainability. And right next to it, we've just started adding a tab for volunteerism.
Oh, wow.
So what can you do to give back? It could be, for example, Helping Hands Jamaica. There are groups of people that go down there to help build schools. Other people will say, come and help us hatch our turtles. In some cases, it's a clean up the reefs. So you get your divers that want to go down to help clean up the reefs. Other people can bring animals back.
Oh, wow.
When they fly home, if they work with an adoption organization, and you can help carry an animal home.
Well, it's going to my next question. How much does seasonality impact travel planning, and when do you usually recommend visitors visiting?
It depends on the country, and I'm going to say it's pretty general for the Caribbean as a whole. And I'm going to break out Guyana. And the reason I'm breaking out Guyana is that Guyana is in South America technically, although we claim it as Caribbean. It is more Caribbean in flavor, but they do have a lot of kind of Amazon-ish type weather, right? So they have a very dedicated rainy season, and so you don't want to travel during the rainy season. So if you want to go see, the tigers and the jaguars and all the caiman and alligator and all the monkeys and all this and that and the other, you want to go out to the Rupununi area of Guyana. But not during the rainy season.
Noted.
The rest of the Caribbean, what I would say, again, looking at the map, so this is the tip of Florida, and really Miami, Fort Lauderdale area is on level with Grand Bahama Island, the northernmost island in the Bahamas. So, you know, when you hear about a cold snap in Florida and Miami, and you hear about the iguanas falling out of the trees, we get that same weather here in Grand Bahama. So the further south you go, the warmer you get. But if they're getting a north wind in January, we'll get a bit of that north wind too. Further south you go, of course, closer to the equator, the warmer that you'll get. But those are the two things that I would say. The last thing I would say is we do have a hurricane season in the Caribbean, and that runs from June to the end of October, beginning of November. There are countries that are less prone to hurricanes, or that we would say would lie outside of the hurricane belt, which are the ABC Islands and Grenada. Throughout the year, you're going to have storms go by. Rarely do they stay planted. You know, it could. You could have that little bit of liquid sunshine in the morning, and it'd be clear in the afternoon.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any travel tips or safety considerations that you always share with first-time visitors?
Pack less.
Definitely.
I always say that because, you know, especially if you're going on to smaller inter-island carriers or taking a ferry, you don't want to drag your luggage, right?
Yes.
In the Caribbean, camo clothing is usually illegal on most islands.
I did not know that.
So you know how you've got those camo shorts, some people wear camo t-shirts, not in the Caribbean. There are some Caribbean countries that are more strict, if you will, in terms of if you want to go into churches to have your shoulders covered, that kind of thing. You know, a little bit more respectful dress is what I would say. The only other thing that I would say about the Caribbean in terms of safety is that some of the countries have a lot of cruise ships on a given day. And if there are a lot of cruise visitors in one particular area on one particular day, pickpockets.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that I would say to you. We do have links to Global Affairs on our website. They will give you an indication of if there's a problem area. To my knowledge, the only problem area we have right now is Haiti.
I see.
Right, and it's not a place we recommend you visit anyway.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Well, good to know that your website has that as well.
We have that link. We have that link, definitely.
That's great. Well, to wrap things up, what would you like our TripToGo travelers to know if they're considering the Caribbean for their next journey?
What I would say is that it's a wide, varied region, and take your time going through the entire region. Go island hopping, learn about the cultures. The Caribbean is a warm and friendly, lively place. They want to share their culture with you.
Of course.
They're proud of their culture. Each country on our website has a video that can be watched. But if you go to our homepage, we have 9 reasons to visit the Caribbean. And if you click on those, there's a video that has 5 countries per video that will explain why these are great countries to visit for that particular topic. So there are so many things to see and do in the Caribbean. We're not just about the beaches, although we have some amazing beaches, but we're all about activities on land, on sea, and all the events that make up the Caribbean, and come and enjoy.
Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate that and the opportunity to explore all that the Caribbean has to offer.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of today's exploration of the Caribbean. Hopefully, you're walking away with a deeper appreciation for the region's incredible diversity and maybe even a few destinations you hadn't considered before. We'd love to keep inspiring your next journey, so follow along for more destination spotlights, expert travel insights, and ideas to help you discover the world in new ways. Once again, I'm Varleen. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.